Hello, everyone. Happy 2025. Rukia Riyad is my name, and welcome back to Riyad Diaries. We are back bigger and better this time. So today I am excited to be with one of the apostles in Uganda. He's going to be introducing himself, and we start from there.
Greetings. I greet you all in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. My name is Apostle Jonah from Millennials for Christ Ministries. I am humbled and honored to be here.
Okay, so today we are going to be looking at immorality in Uganda among the youth. Why I'm with Apostle Nalebo, it's because he's a man of God and they are the first people to mend our hearts. You understand? So today we are going to be discussing about the issue of immorality regarding dress code, regarding sex tapes in Uganda. Yes, Apostle Nalebo, we start from there. What do you think are the reasons as to why we have a lot of immorality in the country?
Immorality in its context, always in its generalities, is a big subject matter that would require us to have a series of episodes to talk about. Yeah. But one of the things that I can say that has created a big rise of immorality in the country is that all institutions that are supposed to be governing have failed. Beginning with the home.
Yeah.
Home as the smallest unit of the society. The home has failed.
How has it failed?
Feda twakula tumanyi nti omuzadde aba muzadde.
Yeah.
A parent was a parent. And a parent was a mirror, a reflection. And part of the reflection of the parent's character was reflected in the children.
Yeah, you're right.
But right now, the children are the ones advising the parents.
How sad.
So recently, the news or the mainstream was watched by one of the child to a popular musician in Uganda, and how the child was advising that particular person, that parent. Now, it shows you that a child that's supposed to be seeking guidance from the father is now the child that is seeking audience on how to advise the parent. So we failed at a family level, whereby we get into marriage when we are not ready. We are not parents ourselves. Yeah. We are not mature enough to be at the level where we're supposed to be having children. So at the level, remember, in the days, a child was a communal project.
Yeah.
So if a child has not gone to school, a village tries a child. Yes. Yeah. So it was a communal project. If I've not gone to school, and parent X finds me, will ask me, why haven't you gone to school? And it will be a responsibility of that parent to discipline me.
Yeah.
Right now, you can't do it with these kids.
Of course you cannot.
Yes, you touch the child and it will be like, oh, and that's why we are having a society that is dead. We're having, because of the capitalistic tendencies, we're having parents that are not present. They are washed or swamped up by work.
Okay, so the absence of parents in their lives of their children.
Most parents think that provision is parenting, which is not the same. School fees, I give them whatever they want, but that's not parenting.
How should
parenting is holistic? Provision is just one of it. Yes? Yeah. So provision is not what every child cries. No. Am I there? Because oftentimes we forget that these children are with us for the shortest time. The rest of the time they spend it with the world.
Yeah.
The much time they spend it with the world. So we must parent our children as they are not going to stay with us. We must train them to live with the rest of the world, not to live within our environment. So we must make it hard for them within our homes so that when they go out in the world, which is harder, they're able to survive. Adopt, Yes, so we failed at that level as a home because parents are busy. Parents are not parents themselves. They are not at the level of being parents and their parents. So we have those challenges. Two, we are going at institutions of learning.
Yes.
Which are schools, which are churches, which are mosques. Right now, a child will even fail who to copy. If they say, I would want to take the character of a politician,
they are corrupt.
Corrupt. They take, say, the clergy, which are religious leaders. They're the ones who are in the news every day. Yes. Either having
wrangles,
yes,
fights,
numerous attacks and all that. They are so untrue to the society. So it is a very bad state to be in, I should say. it's a very bad state. So omwana nave waka nga tasobola kopa waka tasobola kopa bakulembeze
kati nabeera
mu makkati. So awo nawo ne tulemererwa nti abakulembeze tebafuddeyo okuba nti I'm supposed to be exemplary and leading for other people to copy. Kasitanze mbanga nkifunamu. I don't care. Then when we move from there, now we got also institutions that were very responsible for mannerism. Institutions ezaffe obuwangwa.
Like that sakati.
Those things. Kati ze nebintu byenda abantu mu Buganda ne mu Busoga mwempangalidde nga bya kisiru nga tetwandibadde tubikola. Just over this weekend I saw something different that is happening. Folks, anyway, Banambu, ladies coming to greet and all that during our traditional ceremonies. Mwana aja mugomesi nga azina naye nga gomesi yakitiibwa, kanzu yakitiibwa, toyina kikuzinisa mpere mu kanzu omugomesi. So and then these cultural institutions don't come out to say anything because they would have a policy.
It is just normal. They just let them be.
There would be issues of whereby we say we are going to revoke your marriage certificate with us.
You're going to be accountable for the actions you're doing.
So we are in a country where no one is responsible for one another. The home has failed, cultural institutions have failed, learning institutions have failed, leadership has failed at all levels. So that's why we are seeing this moral decay. And also people think modernity means the failure of mannerism. There is no day we are going to be in the world nga MPs are outdated. Teri yo. Ate fete so agamba nti tukulankulanye nnyo okusinga India. India is one of the most conservative countries I know. Of their values. Tetukuze kusinga Buwarabu. Tetukuze kusinga ba China. But they still have values. So for us we think being indecent in all spheres of life is being modern. But olaba n'oba olima ekitooke okigayidinga.
N'otusalako fibers,
so,
plantain.
Ate ffe tulowooza nti okwagala abaana kwe kutabagambako. When we talk about them, there is trauma. Mulina ebintu byammwe ebipya eby'oluzungu bingi, post trauma. One day my wife brought up that conversation and asked that the honest thing I told her is, kirungi naawe ozadde. Let me hope one day they will say you gave them a trauma. Ngamba muve bintu bya trauma. Ebintu bya abazungu mubikopa bukopi. There's no parent who is perfect.
Definitely.
Because they're human as well. They're also going to fail at certain tasks. They're also going to have weaknesses. Maybe they may back at you, they may do. So when you bring it and say trauma, it's rubbish. Most of those things are just global, what should I call it? Development opportunities to create employment and so many other things for people. Human rights. So, okay, women rights are, of course, are very important. But women emancipation, these are some of global opportunities where they've seen as emerging opportunities to create opportunities and employment for people. But you're not going to claim America has got talent. And the kid was saying we were very broke. And as a child, I grew up with the trauma because we could not afford skincare. So skincare now is also part of trauma. It is part of something. So some of those things are just, people think life is soft. So they want to find an escape for everything. They think parents are perfect, and it's utter rubbish for me. That's how I look at it.
Because we are our center of discussion is on the dress code and the going viral of sex tapes and nude
that's what I'm saying. Because
you look at these girls and boys, because it's not only girls that are dressing indecently. Of late, you see men putting on those shorts. They call them bachitaka. Someone is literally naked, like. They are naked, you understand? But you find that this person is from home, from their parents, and they've just accepted them to just move out of the house the way they are.
That's why I've said that it's an issue of failure at all these levels. And most people think, and by the way, I want to ask you about the nti ebyakabi tebitandise omulembe nzumze nakingamba nga ndoza nti kyakusaaga. But
there is nothing new under
there is nothing under the sun. Ekyenjalo kyolina nti n'oba nudu zigwe kati gwe just wakwa ni musozi sharinga ku simu nene dazaberangawo gwe kyolina ekyenjawulo nti
yes have gone public.
Yes nti ate nekirala obirabira ku simu yo nene dabagulanga magazines ezaberangamu those things bagenda mu bikalira zaale zibiraga fwe twasomera kusomero ngera tugenda mu bibando biraba but we were young ebbaala oba ettamiiro byaliwo edda. So there is nothing new. It's just that this generation thinks they are the cool ones. Everyone is struggling because of social media. By the way, social media is a very big problem. Everyone thinks they have an audience they are communicating to. Everyone thinks they have an audience that they're trying to excite. Everyone thinks they have an audience that they are accountable to, which is absolutely very wrong. So because of that, it has created a huge gap between these generations and generations that came before. So parents, it's incumbent, and parenting is a full-time job. It's a job that you don't retire from.
Yeah, you have the moment to bring a life on earth. You have to be a parent.
Okujjako nga govuddewo. Naye omwana ne baweza emyaka 5 asigala ali mwana gy'oli. You need to continue to guide them because byoba olabye bisigala biki bingi. So ebyo biri mu kujja because of also social media where people think they have an audience that they are accountable to. I need to keep updating them. I am a star. So in that context nebivayo naye nze nsubira tusudde nnyo ebintu ebito identifying ng'eggwanga. Abaana tubayigiriza, we've not trained them where they're coming from and where they're going. So right now we don't find, if I told my child mwana wange bwe musomesa about their values, their culture, I look at it as backward.
Yeah. And even the people like she's always with, they be like, fala. So she feels like she cannot blend in with other
Then the
kids.
schools also, we think that we've left so much for the school to do everything. Tusubira nti essomero ligenda yigiriza omwana ebyessomero skills, limuyigiza empisa, limuyigiza n'eddiini. Nze ndowooza ligenda muyigiriza skills. Yes, so you're paying that money because you can't do those subjects and train them to this child. The rest of these values, greeting people, value, worship and all that must be trained at home. Of course, there are schools that are doing it, but they can only supplement for you. The larger part of it is going to be done at home. It's going to be done at home with you as a parent. So it's very important and remarkable that we must focus on these things as a start. Nzinja chiza yoko zo yinse zitugata. Home, society, omuli leadership, politicians, na abagondide na abedini.
Oftentimes tulowooza nti if it has failed home, at least banadini, because you're men of
banadini ate mubesigulira katono, because many of them right now are about their numbers. How much can I be able to attract? How much attention do I have myself than the actual message that I want to communicate? So kintu kyoyagala omwana waayige, do it on yourself. Whatever you want your child to pick, do it, because they're going to go to school, they will learn so many. One of the biggest challenges with schools, especially with values, is that this child is being brought together with people with different values.
Cultures, values, thinkings, norms.
Ate kati bwe kidda ku kintu ky'ekisulo nti boarding, they spend much more time there than they spend at home. So imagine 90 days, they come home for 2 or 3 weeks or a month. You don't even know. And when they're at home, actually, you are again working. You see them in the evening. So much of their work must be done at these early stages. The disciplining, the values, the intentional. By the way, parenting, one thing I've learned is it has to be extremely intentional. It's a project that has no days off. That has to be intentional. If you really want to have a product out there, bigane buganyi, but as a parent ogambe, I already tried my part, yeah. So at the end of the day, don't blame yourself. Say maybe because ABCD was not around, or because it's a project that you need to do with a lot of intention, because at the end of the day, it's your project.
Kati, about the sex steps, you as religious leaders, you know, it is really absurd that sex steps are everywhere, nude pictures are everywhere, but the only thing society has done, like, they're not held accountable. Why are your nude pictures out there in people's phones? Why are your sex steps out there in people's hands? All they do is to just bring them onto like social media platforms, TVs, and they make actually an interview on them.
That's why I keep on asking. I've asked it to various ladies that I've had on my podcast. Is why do we even have them in our phones before we even talk about how they spray? Why do we even have them? And people will tell you long distance relationships. They'll tell you all the things. But to begin with, why are you recording yourself? if you know you will not have control because that phone will be stolen the other day. And for me, for example, many people ask me why I have disappearing messages for my conversations. And for me, it's because I know I don't have control for my phone. Tomorrow, I don't know in whose hands does it land. But if I don't have any saved messages, then you have no evidence. Then you have nothing against me. So, believe it or not, why do we even go a mile to record some of these things?
Probably for pleasure.
Well, if you're sending it to your husband, it is okay. If you're sending it to a boyfriend that you have no intentions with, it's absolutely very wrong. But also it goes back to the fact that we are misusing social media. We don't know the purpose why digital disruptions or innovations have been created. We think they are there for fun, but these are opportunities. They are reducing transport costs. They are reducing advertising costs. They are reducing so much. So it's important for young people out there to understand that that smartphone is here to enhance your communication, not to break your communication.
But I think even you religious people are not doing your job.
That one I agree.
If at all it has refused the home, then at least you religious leaders do something.
Yeah,
because
I know.
It's really absurd that...
I know, but what I have said, because for us, when you come, we are with those people for a very short time.
Yeah.
And often time it's a spiritual conversation. So we can only condemn, but it's an absolute right or an absolute responsibility for a parent to do the larger part of disciplining the child. It's the role of a parent. So the religious leaders are enhancers. They are role models. So unless we have nudes of religious leaders flying around, that's when we could also highly condemn them, hold them accountable.
But I think we've seen nudes of religious leaders before.
Happen. But what I'm only saying is the ratio is 1 to 1,000.
Yeah.
The ones of the normal people running around are the majority. So we condemn it, like I'm using this platform, your platform, to talk about it and highlight its negative impact. Because some of these things, as a person, the opportunities that you're going to miss out.
Yeah.
That you will never access because of those nudes. Your children, how are they going to look at their naked father or mother?
Because those things are kept on Google, it's on the internet.
Yes. And also, abana tumanye nti obulamu tetulivinga bwaffe. Buli mwana wamanya mu bulamu inofunayo omuntu gw'oswalira. Ng'ogamba kisandyagadde mama nga akitegeere. Kisandyagadde. Bulamu buli lw'ofunako buli lw'obula gw'oswalira becomes very hard to live. You must find ekintu ky'oswalira.
Naye oba abazadde be bataswala, because me I see on the internet, you look at a child, a youth, like a teenager or someone in their 20s, ngali ku social media nga wemula ebigambo webiti.
Waka.
They are dancing
nakedly.
Someone comes on the internet and they start stripping.
Waka. Why are you even allowing those kids to have phones as a parent? So me as a religious leader, will I come home and get that phone away from that person? Waka. Omwana gwamukiriza essimu, gwamukiriza okuzina ebyate ne mubawaana. Mukwata abaana abato ne mubakkiriza ozina obubi, ate bwe bakola ne babikola ne mwagala obbirwanyisa. Nze waliwo nali mbeerako sometime. So there was this single mom who was dressing the child inappropriately. Nga mwana muto top class bityo. So one day the baby daddy had come around nga ajja nalaba omwana we. And that kid was dressed inappropriately. Ne mugamba nti genda oddeyo maama wako ambaze bulungi. The woman spent a lot of time atayogera nange, but I did it in front of the father's child. Also to send a message to the father that you're not present, that's why this is happening. Because the environment where I was is anyone can take advantage of this child. Mwana yali muto naye nga munene binibyana biraba nga bimanya ebyana bina kuzino. Kitiri biyita. So anything can happen.
Yeah.
But to suppress that and it takes us to the other thing, to take a village to raise a child. So the mother did not see me in a good context, but I did my part.
Yeah.
At that level, as a citizen, so home does 80% of the time. Because Joava.
Yes, that is right.
So ewaka wano.
Wewali ekinyusi.
Wewali buli kimu. Bino ebirala byonna bijja kwenyansinga but home. Wetuyogera okubuuza abantu, wetuyogera obudde, wetuyogera okufumba, wetuyogera eddiini, wetuyogera empisa. Yes, and that's why, and I keep on telling kubanze nzadde baana bawala. era nsiba ngamba ne mukyala wange nti saagala mwana wange agende mu bufumbo omusajja abeere naye because alina naye abaana nga omukazi oyo yantama
naye olw'abaana
kambeere naye. It's a very wrong thing. Njagala abeere naye because alina omuntu amugattako, because these relationships is energy. There is what I'm getting from you, there is something I'm getting from you. That is it. There is energy. So there must be something that I'm getting. Na mukazi wange mukozi, mukazi wange alina empisa. You get the point?
Yes.
So wano ewaka wano ewali eggumba. So we must everything is because the homes have failed. Yes. We have adopted cultures that are not ours. Omwana omuyindi, me have given you examples. Sudiri abadano bulamu bwe bonna. But when the eldest son Rajiv got to the time of marrying, yamutwala ewaabwe. It is intentional to preserve their values and culture.
Yeah. So
not that he does not like Ugandans. No.
But culture.
Culture. He wants to preserve that and makes it intentional.
So you as a man of God, what do you think can be done? Probably because I cannot say to put it away. Yes.
Eggwanga lino teririna, well, tubadde tugamba nti abavubuka beetanidde nnyo okusaba, naye nze ndaba abavubuka abali nnyo mu kusaba bya vibe. Kinyumo. Ngenda ne nsaba mbana akafuma bwe nti nempemula omuntu.
I understand.
You get it? It's not intentional, which I always call ritual Christianity. Yeah. It's not fundamental. Yes. Ngenda Katonda amumanyi. So what? Katonda alina bera mu bikolwa byo. We must lead like the aspirations. We must lead like Jesus Christ. So that's very important. Because also ewakano tulina okubeera wano. Then we'll have bwana tebakyaswala. Tebakyaswala because n'abakulu temukyaswala. Osagedde. Omukulu abbe 5 ate nakulaga nti abidefending anti yabibba. So tebakyaswala. Singa omukulembeze akeera nabba najja publicly nagamba I am sorry this happened. 7 naseerera.
Yes.
Kati nange n'omutontwana ngamba kitegeeza bw'okola ensobi weetonda.
Abakulu bawemmula.
Yes. Abakulu bawemmula.
I even one time saw a guy, he's old about like 38.
Bamwe kati benda bena kuzina abawemmula ku social media.
Of course, yeah, probably that is the trend. Everyone is looking for numbers and stuff. Because there is a guy I saw, I think he was a politician. No. After he was appointed RDC of Gomba, he got his pants down.
Kumanya no government info. They actually appointed him recently, the assistant RCC. So such a person, how do you promote him? How do you promote such a person? So it's an issue of moral decay from all levels. Omuntu bwati bato ina muwa. Juzi wano appointing omusajja akulira the unit in State House that is in charge URA, that oversees URA. I'm forgetting the name of the guy. But that guy was a convict. A former convict. So Parliament has witnessed a minister that was so mulimu ebintu nga
until we change.
Yeah, until we change. We must find God, surely. We must find God. What we ebintu nga they are within, not within our power. Nga there's just has to be a new covenant of sorts. Just like the floods came with new and cleared and something started afresh. So some of these things we surely just need to pray about them so that a new covenant
can come.
Surely begin, yes. Kuba tetuna naye naffe tukube mu kifuba. Kuba ekituufu tukimanyi. Yeah, ekituufu oba okimanyi. Ate tumanye nti ffenna tuli baakulabirwako. Abalala nze bwe nsitafaayo kubeera example nnungi. Nze ne bwe nkuza abaana bange obulungi. Nga naye siiwa kifaananyi kirungi eri bali abalala bali bajja kucontaminating abano. So it is a circular system. So tulina okuddayo ku bintu identifying ngaffe as a society. The moment we dropped those things, we stopped raising a genuine generation that is honest, that has values, that we have been swept up in a very capitalistic system, which is absolutely very bad.
Okay, so you as an apostle, as we are wrapping up this discussion, what message do you have for people?
Especially to young people, young parents, as a young parent as well, is that you must be intentional with parenting. You must struggle that a better family comes from you than the one you had, Jova. So that will require sacrifice, will require hard work, will require intentionalism. Time. Yes. sacrifice.
Because parenting is hard. It's really hard, parenting, and of late it's really hard.
Yes.
People are always working.
Yes. So nze kyensooka nina ekintu abantu kyebataagala but nkyagala nnyo abantu bawase mu mawanga gaabwe. I believe that buli bwofuna omuntu w'eggwanga lyo
bintu
byanguwa si busosoze but mubaamu n'ebibagatta bingi oba.
Yeah, because kiringanga nze okufumbira omusiraamu. It's easy. When it's Ramadan, we are fasting. I have to veil. Sagala conveniencing ngoli, ate nange sagala conveniencing.
So for me, I think very, very important. Omuntu omwana yena akera okufuna omwana manya nti si kinyumo. It's going to be...
You have to be sober when it comes to procreation.
It's going to be very intentional. That's the best word I can use. You have to be very intentional. Kina kuba kya kigenderera. You have to work on that and work on it and work on it and work on it and work on it until you achieve the ultimate objective. Yes.
Okay, so thank you so much, Apostle Jonathan Nalebo from Millennium Ministries. We've been discussing about the high immorality in the youth today, and you really heard what he said about it. So catch me same time, same place. This is Rukia, and don't forget to subscribe, share, like, comment. See you next time.